UFC 319 prediction show starts now on AJ Let's Talk Sports. Chimaev versus du Plessis, and it's going to be at Saturday night, pay-per-view in Chicago. Make sure you subscribe to my podcast or YouTube as well. And before we get to that, I want you to stay with me on this channel right now because we're not at our main card. I want you to see who I pick, and we can kind of argue back and forth who wins and who makes the monies. But follow me and let's do this. All right. So far, I'm 9-1 in the past 2 weeks. 9-1. Beat that. You can't. I'm the best. Let's check out Who You Got segment. And this is from the UFC Apex Who You Got. Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Hernandez. Now, 67% of you said Roman Dolidze. Only 33% said Fluffy. But there was only 3 votes. So 2 votes to 1. And I didn't pick, but I would have picked Anthony Hernandez because I picked Anthony Hernandez. And I went only 1 loss last week, by the way. And I went undefeated the week before that, 5-0 2 weeks ago, and only lost 1. So no comments, by the way. No comments on the Who You Got segment because that kind of sucks. Make sure you get on there every Friday. Friday morning I drop it. So tomorrow morning is going to be a new one for this new fight for Chimaev versus du Plessis. So be ready to look for it and go vote. Do it now. No, not right now. It's tomorrow. I'm just kidding. All right. Let's check out some UFC news. You ready for that? UFC news. I only got one topic, and it's going to be enough. The UFC agrees to a groundbreaking $7.7 billion deal with Paramount Plus and CBS, ditching the pay-per-view model. Now, I'm getting a lot of hype behind this. All my friends, family, everybody I'm on social media is backing this, especially for the consumer. Now, supposedly Dana White has going to give more money to the fighters. Supposedly, I am not 100% sure on that. You have to ask him. But here's a little Pat McAfee and all that stuff. He was on the show the other day. But Dana White confirmed that the move in a post on Instagram saying it puts UFC amongst the biggest sports in the world. Quote, this historic deal with Paramount and CBS is incredible for UFC fans and our athletes. For the first time ever, fans in the US will have access to all UFC content without a pay-per-view model, making it more affordable and accessible to view the greatest fights on a massive platform. This deal puts UFC amongst the biggest sports in the world. The exposure provided by Paramount and CBS networks under this new structure is a huge win for our athletes and anyone who watches and loves this sport. End quote. So Paramount confirmed that both the length and the cost is going to happen in a release on Monday. So while the average annual cost of the deal is only $1.1 billion, the payment structure is weighted with Paramount Plus paying less money early in the deal. The deal is only for UFC US rights only, though. This is the key right here. Are you listening? So make sure you're paying attention. Stay here. Paramount is interested in buying the company's international rights, but it's not available right now. They have to become available, and this was released on Monday. So for any fights outside of the United States, you're going to probably have to buy pay-per-view. But any fights inside the country, you won't have to. But that's starting in January. All UFC events, including 13 numbered shows and 30 fight nights, will be included, part of a normal subscription with Paramount Plus. Now, selected number of events will be simulcast on CBS. So they kind of been playing with it anyways so far this year. But under UFC's premium rights deal, premium events could only be viewed via pay-per-view, though. The premium events. I knew this was going to happen. So you're getting all excited about the little title, but read the fine print. You're going to buy the Paramount Plus subscription, and you're still going to have to pay for the pay-per-view. Still. Fans looking to watch events under UFC's current rights deal need to own ESPN Plus subscription and pay the additional $79.99, which that's how it's always been. But that model will be done through the 2025 season. And starting 2026, all fans will need to watch UFC events in a subscription to Paramount Plus. So far right now, which I have an ESPN Plus subscription. I have the whole bundle with Hulu, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus. But under this new deal, starting in January, though, as of right now, it's still the same, and the pay-per-view fights are $80 plus tax. So January, I don't know. Some say it's only $8 a month. Some say it's $11 a month for a Paramount Plus package with the pay-per-view fights, which would be pretty cool. But we'll see how this all transpires in January, and I'm sure all of these people, once they see how many people actually come out and do it, they're going to charge it to $15 to $20, and then another 3 to 6 months they'll probably make it another $40 to $50 a month, because that's just how they do, because they're greedy little bastards. All right, there's the UFC news. Hope you enjoyed it. Now, a word from our sponsor for this segment. All you have to do is click on the description of Linktree, and then you will see this. And I want you to have the deals that I have. And here we go. Boom. There it is. Get 30 cents off on gas with Upside. Just click on the link. You get 10 free meals if you want to do HelloFresh. Hulu, enjoy 30 days free on me. The Skim, win $4,000 Visa gift card. Who doesn't want $4,000? I sure as hell do. Get it. Who gives a crap? You scored 20% off toilet paper. Get your toilet paper today. Go on the description. Click now. We're going into our main card and who's ready. UFC 319 main card, and it starts right now. So we're talking about the flyweights. Flyweights are at 125. This is a 3-round fight. Tim Elliott, taking a look at him. Age 38 years old. He's approximately 20-13-1, according to what sources you're looking at. 21-13, basically. He's a 9-11 across 2 stints. His fighting style is a veteran grappler, unconventional striker. He's consistent pace, solid submission game. His last fight, from when he returned from a 20-month little hiatus, and he beat Sue Madariji in a December 2023 via submission, and he's been on a hiatus as well for the past couple years. Taking a look at Kai Asakura. He's only 31, obviously the younger fighter, 21-5. He's former Rizin bantamweight champion with high-profile wins over fighters like Kyoji Horiguchi, Mano Cope, and Juan Archuleta. UFC debut challenged Alexander Pantoja for the flyweight title at UFC 310 December 7, 2024, but lost by rear naked choke in the second round. Now, Asakura's weaknesses and explosive, he's got fighter strengths here, explosive, power striker. He's got a knockout rate of 62%, but he has questionable takedown defense. His fight pace is impacted of weight cutting and his age, and Elliot high-level wrestling, stamina, and submission skills, 35% submission rate, and he's got a less than finishing power of 15% knockout rate. So pretty much opposite fighters here, and Elliot is obviously the older one, but I think we'll get to that in a second. Now, Elliot's striking lands 3.39 strikes for 44% accuracy. Asakura has 2.4 strikes with 58% accuracy. Now, Elliot's grappling, though, is a lot better at 3.73 takedowns per 30 rounds, and he's at 59% takedown defense. Asakura attempts far fewer takedowns. He's only at 10%, and he defends at 57%. So here's taking a look at the predictions and the odds. Asakura is approximately a minus 300 to minus 333, depending on what sport betting site you're looking at. Elliot is at a plus 240 to plus 250. So expert picks here off the Bleacher Report mostly backed Asakura, and that's what his predicting is a unanimous decision or a TKO in the first and second rounds. But I am actually going to go someone different. Now here's the analyst. I'll get to my predictions here in a second. Here's the analyst and what to watch. The key battle is a striking power versus a grappling grinder. Asakura's explosiveness and finishing prowess are dangerous, especially early. Elliot's best path is dirty boxing, takedowns, sustained pressure, and control. Now, factors for Asakura, he's got his youth, he's got power, he's got activity momentum, and after shy but competitive title fight debut, high striking accuracy and dangerous counters from the pocket. Now, potential Elliot upset angle. Now, I'm actually picking Elliot in this, but Asakura's cage wrestling can be tested. Elliot's way more explosive in his wrestling, and he could take him into deep waters if he lasts that far. Elliot's veteran savvy and submission potential. But some key concerns to Tim Elliott is long layoff, his age, his durability, and his heavy hands. Asakura's potential cardio logistically issues with weight and cage positioning. So most projections are for Kai Asakura to win by TKO or knockout. Only a few analysts can see Elliot winning this. So if you're going to go the safe pick, Asakura is a safe pick for KO or TKO in rounds 2 and 3. But the upset scenario, which I'm taking, ding, 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 AJ's picks, Elliot is going to be using his grappling and dominance to secure a decision or submission. Now, I know I'm reaching out of the hat for this. These are going to be a dog UFC 319 AJ's picks. All dogs, mostly all dogs. So the final thoughts. Kai Asakura is the younger, more dynamic finisher with the majority of pundits and bettors favoring him to rebound and reignite momentum in the UFC flyweight picture. But Tim Elliott, on the other hand, he represents a classic danger, tough, gritty, grappling first, and capable of making a statement comeback if the fight goes to the mat and rubber matches Asakura's rhythm. But some people pick Asakura. Most people are picking Asakura. I'm going against the grain. Give me Elliot. All right, we're going on to the next fight. Matchup here. Jared Killa Gorilla Cannonier. How can you go against the Killa Gorilla? But he is 41. He's my age. 41 years old. He is currently ranked in the top 10 at middleweight, and he's fighting the unorthodox, flashy striker, Michael Venom Page, who recently moved from welterweight to middleweight. Now, taking a look at Jared Cannonier. I said he's 41. He's 18-8. He's an explosive knockout power. I love it. He has strong low kicks, effective dirty boxing, and he's excellent in his durability. Check out the metrics here. He lands a 4.6 significant strikes per minute at 50%. Absorbs 4.4 per minute at 44% takedown success rate. And he's a 64% defense. So recently, he rebounded from a 2-fight skid with a TKO win over Gregory Rodriguez. And Rodriguez, RoboCop, that's tough. And a 41-year-old beating him, that was back in February of this year. So he's riding high right now. Let's take a look at Michael Venom Page. We're going to break all these fights down here in a second. 23-3. Michael Venom Page, unorthodox movement, superior distance management, sharp counter striker. He's high striking accuracy. He's at 2.5 significant strikes landed per minute at 62% accuracy. Now, he absorbs only 1.78 strikes per minute. Similar takedown defense as well at 63%. Cannonier is the rugged physical striker who aims to bulldoze opponents into contact. Now, Page uses movement, range, and timing to avoid direct exchanges and pick spots, turning the fight into a striking clinic. It's going to be an all-out slugfest on this one. It's going to be probably possible fight of the night here. So some of the odds here. Verdict, MMA has Cannonier at plus 155 and Page at minus 192. FanDuel has them at minus 188 and Cannonier has it at plus 162. So here's some analysts. He prefers Page by decision. MMA Mania backs Page by decision. Bleacher Report has Page by knockout in round 2. Some have Cannonier by split decision. And then Page by unanimous decision. No one has Cannonier, but guess what? Your boy's picking Jared Cannonier. But what to watch for? Fighter path to victory. Cannonier needs to cut off the cage, force close contact, and land heavy low kicks or clinch strikes to slow Page's moment. He may aim to wear Page down and capitalize on any openings. So check out the verdict summary. Most projections favor Page. We've already talked about this. But the upside for Cannonier, if he can disrupt the rhythm early and drag the fight into a physical, grueling war, he has the power to finish or dominate. But if you want to do a safe pick, pick Page by decision. But, like I said, I'm picking Jared Cannonier. 41. I'm picking the old fighters, dude. I'm an old buck. I hope these old bucks come in and knock some people out. Get the job done. All right, next fight. You ready for this? This is Geoff Neal versus Carlos Prates. This one is going to be a tough one. And the backstory, the bout was originally booked for UFC 314, but there was a cancellation due to Neal's injury, and they had to rebook it, obviously, for this occasion. So Geoff Neal, 34, 16-6. He's a powerful striker. They call him the hands of steel. He's experienced. He's resilient. His last win was a knockout win over Rafael dos Anjos via injury by knee, UFC 308 at October 2024. And then the previous loss was split decision to Ian Machado Gary by submission. So Carlos Prates, 31 years old, 21-7, exceptionally knockout power, rangy striker, constant offensive pressure. His recent wins, 3 straight knockout wins before his loss, stopped Neil Magny, Li Zhongling, and Charles Radke. His last fight, he lost via unanimous decision to Ian Machado Gary back in April of 2025, snapping an 11-fight win streak. So that sucks. Prates was dominating until Machado Gary train railed him. So Neal, 63%, 10 knockouts out of 16. Prates, 76%, 16 knockouts out of 21 wins. So here's some physical attributes. Now Prates holds a significant reach advantage at 78 inches versus Neal's only 75, plus slightly taller stature as well. So Prates' range, dynamic, high volume striking, his Muay Thai background translates into varied striking and finishing ability. So Neal relies on raw power and durability, more of a patient bouncer who can shift momentum if he connects clean. So it's taking a look at some betting odds and experts here. Prates favor between minus 245 to 265. Neal is an underdog at plus 200 to 205. So BetMGM expects Prates to win by knockout based on reach and striking edge. So Verdict MMA sees Prates winning by decision thanks to his length and striking control. OddsShark suggests Prates finishing inside the distance or picking the fight to finish under 2.5 rounds. So fighter keys to victory: Carlos Prates used the reach, keep Neal at bay, leverage his leg kicks and varied striking to disrupt Neal's rhythm and land powerful combinations early, capitalize and prone spots for a finish. Now Geoff Neal has to survive Prates' initial blitz, engage in close quarters where range matters less, land heavy power shots when opportunities rise, potentially dragging into later rounds if the fight evens out. Now Prates' youth, aggressive style, and striking arsenal make him a clear favorite, but Neal represents danger, especially if he avoids early damage and can impose power. It's shaping up to be a stand-up war, and let's take a look at some of the summary here. Overall, the consensus leans strongly in Carlos Prates' favor via knockout or TKO, but Neal would need to land a big shot or tactically withstand Prates' early pressure to pull out an upset. I have Geoff Neal, by the way. They're like back-to-back dogs. That's what I'm picking. All right, let's take a look at Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. I will have to say this. We're going to go through this a little bit, and I have an expert opinion on this. And she's been watching the fights more than I have, and she's taken a closer look at Aaron Pico, and we're going to get to her here in a second. But the co-main event, just below Du Plessis versus Chimaev, this is a high stakes. Both fighters are looking to catapult into title contention. Henry Cejudo even predicted that the winner will be the next featherweight champion, according to Sherdog. Pico's UFC debut. Aaron Pico arrives as a hyped former Bellator standout. His original opponent was Movsar Evloev, but after Evloev's injury, Lerone Murphy actually stepped in for this. We're going to take a look at some bios and their strengths and weaknesses. Lerone Murphy, the Miracle, 16-0. He's a technical kickboxer, known for crisp striking and solid defense. Accurate volume striker, lands at a 4.8 significant strikes per minute and a 54% accuracy. He absorbs only 2.87 per minute. Durable and strategic. 4 of his last 5 wins have come via decision, showing elite pacing. Takedown stats. His takedown success rate is at a 54% with the defensive rate of 52%. Solid, but not impenetrable. Taking a look Aaron Pico at 13-4, a decorated prospect making his UFC debut. Elite amateur wrestling background, dominant in takedowns and control. Heavy-handed with explosive striker and finishing power. Multiple first-round finishes. His concerns out of the cage since February of 2024, a potential ring rust factor could be potentially. Aggressive entries could be countered by a sharp strike like Murphy. So taking a look at some betting odds. Pico is a favorite at a roughly -150 to -158. Murphy is the underdog at a +120. Alternatively, some books list Pico at a 195 and Murphy at a +165. Sports Betting Dime argues Murphy's pace and movement might outlast Pico. So taking a look at a fighter breakdown. Fighter path to victory, Lerone Murphy, keep the fight clean and on the feet, use accuracy, footwork, and volume to outpoint Pico. He needs to avoid grappling exchanges and maintain distance, especially as his takedown defense isn't elite. So Aaron Pico used wrestling to dictate the fighter's pace and location, pressuring Murphy in the clinch or ground game. Pair explosive striking with grappling to create chaos and maximize finishing chances. So in general, the slight edge is to Aaron Pico by decision or late finish. The upset scenario, if Murphy controls the distance, avoids takedowns, and drags it into deep waters, he could win by a clear decision. The best value pick, which is crazy, take Murphy at +130, or offers upside if you believe Pico's aggression may be offset by ring rust. So the final thoughts here. This fight isn't just about immediate winning. It could propel the victor into direct contention for Alexander Volkanovski's title shot. So, what do you think? Get your butt over here. So we got a special guest. This is all like my little takes. I had it all written down and all that stuff. But according to what we saw, tell them what you saw.
I mean, first round, I've been taking a look at Aaron Pico, and I love what I saw. I mean, first round, that knockout was crazy, and I just feel like he's going to win, honestly. He looks good. I mean, I feel like he's going to win, so.
I know we talked about this a little bit ago. Stay over here. What are you doing? That's my daughter, by the way. So she watches all the fights as much as I do. So she really liked this Aaron Pico guy, and we watched it and all that stuff. But what do you think about we were talking about the Bellator, him coming from Bellator, and it's not elite fighters. Do you think he's ready and capable of fighting these elite fighters in UFC?
From what I saw, I mean, he's ready for anything. I loved it. What I saw, I loved it. He hasn't really been in the UFC yet, but I feel like he can get... I mean, I feel like he can kick some butt, you know? Yeah. I loved what I saw, so I'm feeling good about this.
Like, she really liked... You should have seen what she looked like and her facial expressions was when that first knockout on the highlight with like 10 seconds in. It was pretty sick. So... Are you wanting to pick anybody on the Chimaev versus du Plessis, or you just wanting to have a little pick on your Aaron Pico? Because you really liked Aaron Pico. So that was it. We just had a little special guest by my daughter, KJ, and she knows her stuff probably better than me. She probably should start her own YouTube channel. But I won't let her. Anyway. Comment. No, it's fine. All right, now we are at the main event of the evening at UFC 319 in Chicago, Chi-Town. All right, here we go. Khamzat Chimaev. Undefeated Khamzat Chimaev is the rising threat aiming to capture his first UFC title. Dricus du Plessis seeks his third middleweight title defense, aiming to solidify his reign an inch closer to pound-for-pound dominance. So, du Plessis, record 23-2. He's on an 11-fight win streak. Recent wins over my boy, Sean Strickland. This is why I don't like du Plessis, because he beat my boy, Sean Strickland. A submission over Israel Adesanya, and a rematch decision over Strickland. He's known for his unorthodox yet highly effective grappling, augmented striking, capable of draining opponents and finishing late. His style is hard to prepare for. Du Plessis himself claims it's practically impossible to replicate him in camp. So Khamzat Chimaev, from nothing to something, out of Ukraine, came from the streets with nothing. Didn't even have a floor to walk on. Undefeated as he's coming in, 14-0. Notable wins over Whitaker with a face crank submission. He beat Usman, Burns, and Holland. He's known for explosive wrestling pressure and early finishes, averaging just over 6 minutes per bout. He's acknowledged cardio issues in first fights that extended previously. He's now training extensively with Sam Calaviti to improve endurance throughout championship rounds. Taking a look at some key stats here. Du Plessis and Chimaev, 23-214 average fight duration at 13 minutes and 45 seconds. 6 minutes and 5 strikes per minute. 6.12 and 5.36 strikes accuracy. So Chimaev is largely favored. He's at minus 190. Some have him at minus 238. Du Plessis is the underdog at around plus 160 to plus 195. So here's some expert commentary. Actually, Israel Adesanya says this: if Chimaev wins, it'll be early in rounds 1 and 2. If Du Plessis retains, expect a late stoppage. So Ryan Ritter believes Chimaev may struggle to take Du Plessis down early. Every round that goes on favors DDP. So an MMA Fighting Roundtable sees this as a defining moment for both. Chimaev's moment to affirm or derail his ascent. Du Plessis could vault to pound for pound number 1 if he wins this. Chimaev must capitalize early with relentless wrestling and high output before Du Plessis cardio and grappling acumen take over. So Du Plessis needs to expend Chimaev's energy while landing power and mixing in submissions and sustaining pressure into later rounds. Conditioning may be the fight's turning point. So it's all on Chimaev. This revamped camp is designed to bring him deeper into fights than in previous showings. So we'll see if that happens. Verdict summary. Lean, slight edge on Khamzat Chimaev, especially if he can overwhelm quickly and dictate term early. Upset path. If the fight extends deep beyond rounds 2 and 3, Du Plessis pressure, endurance, and late game finishing potential make him a formidable pick. Now here's a value pick. Value pick alert. Du Plessis offers compelling value at plus 160 to a plus 195, especially for a longer play or decision finished by late rounds. So, in essence, UFC 319's main event is a classic collision, the unstoppable momentum of an undefeated grappler versus a unique, unorthodox, battle-tested champion. So, I actually think Khamzat Chimaev will win this. We went over all this. I typed all this stuff out, by the way. I did a lot of research. I hope you guys enjoyed this, because I went boss mode on this UFC 319. And I'm going Chimaev. And I think he's going to finish in the second round by submission. Because I have done the fights when I'm on the UFC 5, when I do the games, and you have the opportunity to be at the UFC fight and you be able to do the fights and stuff, and I pick Chimaev every time. And every time I try to stand and bang with Du Plessis, he has really kind of good defense and stuff. So I take him down on the ground, and what do? I submit him in the first round. But this is real life, and he'll submit in second. Because in the game I can submit him in the first. But in real life, he'll submit him in the second. Probably by Darce. Darce choke in the second round via submission. Give me Chimaev. Undefeated. And that's how you do it. Love you guys. God bless. Tip the waitress.